wasn't working this morning, so I had it on access. Carry access when that bracelet came out the post. So then I had to restart the motor downstairs.
And as that welcoming, inclusive community, we also like to welcome each other. And we can do that in a variety of ways. We can do it with a handshake. We can do it with a hug. We can do it with a wave or a blessing. But being that each person gets to be in charge of their body, if somebody puts their arms out for a hug and they put their hand back with a handshake, shake their hand. So let's go ahead and greet each other.
I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing bliss today. I'm choosing bliss today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing bliss today. I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing love today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing love today.
All right. Thank you, and you may be seated. So we anchor our service with some affirmations, and our first affirmation is our inclusion statement for this month. Together, I'm beautiful in my way. And now our other affirmation is our generosity and affirmation, and we'll say this one together as well. Together, I am an exuberant, joyful expression of spirit, participating fully in the principles of generosity. That is a mouthful, and it is true. So as we move into the meditation portion of our service now with the singing of the Lord's Prayer, do know that there will be a time of quiet and silence as the oneness blessers and energy workers bless the congregation.
Our Creator, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy us not in temptation, but deliver us from error. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen.
And so it is. The daily word for Sunday, June 30, 2019, is healing. The power of divine life restores me to wholeness. John's Gospel tells the story of Jesus' healing encounter at the pool of Bethesda with a man who had been ill for 38 years. People believed that at a certain time after an angel stirred the waters of the pool, the first person to enter the water would be healed. When Jesus asked the man if he wanted to be made well, the man explained that he had no one to help him to the pool when the water was stirred up. Hearing Jesus say, "Stand up, take your mat and walk," the man shifted his belief in his limitation and freed himself. His faith in the power of divine life was quickened, and he was restored to wholeness. Like the man at the pool, I let go of all belief in illness. I experience a new vitality. The power of divine life restores me to wholeness. From John 5, verse 8, Jesus said to him, "Stand up, take your mat, and walk." The daily word for Sunday, June 30, 2019, healing.
In the silence, there is a sacred place, a secret meeting place. Love is there. In the silence, where every color blends and every rainbow ends, good is there. In the light, now you find that you know peace of mind. In the silence, your path is paved in gold, and all your dreams unfold. Love is there. Peace is there. Truth is there. God is there.
As we enter this time of meditation, gently close your eyes. Sink comfortably into your seat and become aware of your breath. Breathing in and out. Again, breathing in deep and letting all the breath out. As we focus on our breath, we relax even deeper. Breathing in and out. As we grow through change, we have a choice. A choice to create endless possibilities. A choice to cultivate greatness. To look at change from another perspective. Just because challenges occur, it doesn't mean that it is wrong or bad. As we go into the silence, envision and create what those endless possibilities may look like. As we come back to the present moment, we can take on a greater outlook of growing through change. As we grow, we graciously receive obstacles wholeheartedly. As we embrace change, we cultivate hope as new goals emerge. And so it is.
When a seed lies beneath the ground, the sun shines bright and the rain's pouring down. Still in the darkness, it seems nothing is found. But there's one thing that every seed knows. If you stretch toward the light, you will grow and grow. God is all the life in a seed, even more life than we can conceive. And it is our life to live as we please, create what we want through what we believe. Oh, it's our life. Yes, it's our life. God is the life in a seed, and God is life through me. When the wind blows and the lightning strikes, I stand tall as a tree, and with all my might I bend with the breeze. I do not fight. I remember the life of a seed, and God is the essence of me, of me. God is all the life in a seed, even more life than we can conceive, and it is our life to live as we please, create what we want through what we believe. Oh, it's our life, yes, it's our life. God is the life in a seed, and God is life through me. God is life through me.
I am listening. I can hear you, and your voice speaks softly every time I pray. I am listening, and my heart says that your love is always showing me the way. I am listening. I am listening. Have you ever noticed the innate discomfort when the things you expect to happen don't? So I understand this community has elected by incredible majority to move from this beautiful, beautiful sanctuary and home where you've loved and worshiped and celebrated for so many years. And that you've elected to move your spiritual community to a new home, perhaps in Melbourne Heights, I think it is. Perhaps it is. Well, I'm Reverend Greg Coles, as Ray said, and I have the privilege of serving as the regional representative for the Great Lakes region. And I don't know how Louisville is in the Great Lakes, but I'm glad you are. This feels real hot to me. I don't know. I'm glad you are. So what that regional rep means is that I get to do what I love to do, which is to serve other ministries, other leaders, other board members. And that's my joy. That's my joy. So yesterday I had the privilege of meeting with most of your board members, and we had this wonderful retreat and discussion. And we talked about these changes that you're going through. These changes that are being planned. These changes that are happening. And we especially talked about why. Because that's the key, isn't it? It's why are we doing this? No one likes change. Change is difficult. Change is hard, even good change. So why are we doing this? And it came to your mission, which was incredible. I love your mission statement. But I got ahead of myself, so I'll go back. So I've titled my lesson today, Growing Through Change. And more specifically, I want to talk to you about the nature of change as an opportunity for our spiritual growth, for our individual spiritual growth and our growth as a community. And I also want to talk about the power of holding sacred space, something your prayer chaplains and LUTs are probably very familiar with, holding sacred space. I want to start by sharing this quote from Rachel Naomi Remen. Rachel is a professor of integrative medicine at the University of, is it Berkeley? No, California in San Francisco. And she's the author of several books on healing. Rachel says, perhaps the most important thing we ever give each other is our attention. And I love that because that for me is the definition of holding sacred space. It's giving our attention. It's not giving our judgment. I heard this saying, I love it, that if you deny another's perspective, you dehumanize them. So when denying another person's perspective, we dehumanize them and we create conflict for ourselves just by denying their humanity and their other perspectives. So holding sacred space isn't holding judgment. It's not having to agree or disagree with their story, with their perspective. It's not trying to fix them or change them or rescue them. It's giving our full attention, holding sacred space. Author and lecturer Leo Buscaglia tells of a contest that he was to judge to determine the most caring child. And the child that he chose was a 4-year-old little boy. This 4-year-old child lived next to an elderly gentleman next door whose wife had recently passed. And one day, the little boy saw his neighbor sitting on his porch in his rocker, and he was crying. So the little boy wandered over next door, walked up the porch steps, and wandered up to the man and crawled up in his lap. And later on, his mother said, "What did you do to help our neighbor? What did you say to him to make him feel better?" And the little boy said, "Nothing. I just helped him cry. I just helped him cry." That's holding sacred space. Heather Plett is an international speaker and teacher of holding sacred space. And here's her definition. Holding space means that we are willing to walk alongside of another person in whatever journey they're on without judging them, making them feel inadequate, trying to fix them, or trying to impact the outcome. When we hold space for other people, we open our hearts, offer unconditional support, and let go of judgment and control. So yesterday, as I said, I got to meet with your board of trustees, and we asked the question, why? Why are we doing this change? And it became clear that it tied into your vision of who you've come to be. That yes, you have been wonderful. Yes, you have achieved greatness. You have done wonderful things here. And there is another platform where there is more greatness for you to grow into as a community, to reach out to more people, more accessibility, to be more yourselves. So it really tied into your your vision, and I love it. Unity of Louisville. Why don't you read this with me? Unity of Louisville is an inclusive, prosperous, and compassionate community celebrating oneness and infinite possibilities. Infinite possibilities. You see possibilities for this world. Those are big possibilities, and this world needs this message. And that ties in with the vision for Unity Worldwide Ministries, ministries all around the world who teach this unity message that we offer, that we bring, which is really a universal message. A world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of a shared spiritual awakening. Can you see that with me? A world that's powerfully transformed by a growing movement of a shared spiritual awakening. And that's a powerful vision. That's what's calling us to move from our greatness into an even greater possibility of greatness, of who we're called to be. Now, as you're embarking on this move and this change, I want to share with you a little bit about the nature of change. And I'm using a theory called Theory U by Otto Scharmer. Now, if you read about Theory U or you look it up on the internet, you'll see it's way, way complex. Yeah, you've done this? Okay. Yeah, it's very detailed, but I'm going to break it down into its core essential elements for you. Now, most of us think of change as a linear process. So we think of it as moving from point A to point B. So if I move from here, and I move over here somewhere, that's change, right? Yeah, we think that's change. We wish it's change. Now, corporations work especially hard to support us in this belief in a linear design change. So along this linear line, we have a time of analysis, of gathering data, right? We have visioning, where we're visioning, what can this be? What can it look like? What are the aspects? And then we put together our strategic plan. And then we get the change we want when we want it. Right? Maybe. Well, anyone who's been through these processes know that change can feel a lot more like this. That's the parachute, God's parachute. I heard that, James. Thank you. So it feels like we're in midair dropping. We've left point A, we've made the decision, we've made the drop, but it almost feels like the rug is pulled out from under us. We have absolutely no idea when we're going to land, what it's going to look like, what it's going to feel like. We're just out there hanging. And that's scary. That's vulnerable. That's fearful. So that's how change really feels. I know it does for me when I'm honest with myself. Theory U offers us a non-linear aspect of change. So it's more like a U shape instead of linear. So when dropped off, it's not really dropping off like a parachute, though it can feel that way. So the first step they call letting go. It's letting go of what we've been. Because until we can get to the other side, we have to let go. Hard, isn't it? It's hard to let go when things have been so wonderful. But it has to be letting go. So I liken it to a Lego house. It's put together, all the pieces work, it's comfortable, everything's fit nicely, it's worked great. But then things don't quite feel the same energy. Things are shifting. It's not quite comfortable. It's not everything that we're called to be. It's a little uncomfortable. So we have to let that go. So what happens when you let a Lego home drop? Any parents in the room? Yeah, ka-chung, it's a mess. You've got pieces everywhere. And when you walk across the room, some of those are kind of sharp, and it's very uncomfortable to walk on that mess. It hurts. They're jagged. So when we move to the bottom, we have what's called presencing. And I liken presencing to being the bowl. I love the analogy of the bowl, because the bowl is the safe place. The bowl simply holds the pieces together. It's not trying to fix them. It's not trying to direct them. It's not trying to make them into anything. The bowl is a place of holding sacred space. And some people will look at that bowl of all these different pieces of Lego, and they'll see destruction. They're going to see the destruction. They're going to feel sadness. They're going to feel grief, anger, uncertainty. While others are going to look at that very same bowl and they're going to see, wow, look at all the possibilities. Look what we might be able to do together. So it's not one or the other, it's both and. Both and. And in this presencing in the middle, the bowl is holding sacred space. So after you've moved through the letting go, you've done the presencing, the next step is letting come. And I love those words. Notice it's not a strategic plan. It's letting come. It's something much more organic. It's much more spiritual. It's much more reliant on our energy, on God energy, to guide us, to direct it. It's letting come. And so perhaps the Legos get reshaped into something else like a bridge. But we let whatever that is emerge organically as a community. Now, Sharma says there are 3 phases to this you process. The first phase is having an open mind. So I might not grasp it, I might not understand it, I might not like it, but in order to move through that process, my mind has to be open. Has to be open. The next part is having an open heart. So we have to be willing to open our hearts and feel the feelings. Feel the feelings of grief. Feel the sadness. Feel the anger. Or whatever we're feeling. Feel the joy. Feel the excitement. But we have to allow our hearts to open and feel through that process. Not stump them down, but feel them. And next we have to have an open will. An open will. That's where it's not my will, but God's will. Not my will, but the Creator's will. Not my will, but the way of it. So an open will. And in this process, which we know can be challenging, it's an opportunity for growth, to develop open mind, open heart, open will. There's 3 challenges. First is going to be judgment, which comes from the ego, because the ego fears change. The ego wants us to stay the same, stay safe, stay familiar, stay what's known. That's the ego's job. That's the ego's job, and it's going to do that. So we have to be aware of our judgment and remain open nonetheless. The next challenge is cynicism, because cynicism wants to close down an open heart. A cynic wants to be the back chair, complainer, pointing out what's wrong, the cynic, rather than having an open heart and feeling through this change process. And the third step is the fear, the obstacle of fear, of surrendering our will to something higher, to a higher power. So we have to push through that fear and self-reliance and know that there's something greater that wants to be born through this change and through each of us. So what I want you to get from this is that the process of change is an opportunity for our spiritual growth, for our spiritual and emotional maturity. It's our opportunity. Some call it a problem, some call it a challenge. It's our opportunity for growth, which is why we come here anyway. which is why I come, which is why I do my practices, my meditation, all my spiritual practices, to align me with the Creator, with the way of it. So as we plan for our spiritual community to move from this building to a new location, there's going to be discomfort, there's going to be letting go, there's also going to be the excitement of letting come. There's going to be all of it. All of it. And here in the middle, which we are right now, we're in the middle, we have the opportunity of holding sacred space for all of it. Holding sacred space for the process to unfold. For some, that letting come that you saw, a minute, 2 hours, maybe a couple months. For some, it might be a couple years before they let come. Some will never let come. Holding space is allowing for that process to be what it is. Holding sacred space. So I've been working with Reverend Ray, some of my colleagues at Unity Worldwide Ministries, the consulting services, met with the board yesterday, and I am so excited after meeting your board of trustees because they are on fire. They are on fire with this. Would you give your board of trustees a hand of applause? Because I'm amazed. And so what I've been asked to do is to create a series, probably 3 different play shops, to help facilitate opportunities of growing through this change. So this afternoon is all about connecting. This afternoon, the workshop is all about connecting, sharing, and growing through the journey of moving our spiritual community. Next time, we're going to get more in depth with the process of change and grieving. But today's workshop is all about connecting and finding where we are in this letting go, presencing, and letting come process. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We get to hold space for one another. We get to have a sacred listening circle where there's no fixing, there's no answers. We're listening for one another. We're allowing to arise what comes up in each of us. So that'll be one of the things in the play shops this afternoon. So that play shop is going to be from 12 noon till 4 noon. That's lunchtime. Well, there's free lunch for whoever wants to come. So if you come, there'll be a light lunch. We'll meet from 12 to 4. We'll begin with the lunch, and then I'll facilitate a variety of connecting exercises for us to really share and connect and presence where we're at as a community and all the different pieces of the community and how we fit together. So we'll be playing with that this afternoon. I hope you'll join me. So when things don't happen, when and how we expect they do, it's going to be uncomfortable. And it's going to be an opportunity for our spiritual growth and to move beyond our discomfort into something greater that we've not yet been as individuals or as a community. Something new is wanting to be born and emerge in you. And I'm excited for you. So I bless you on your journey of transformation, of recreation, of reimagining, and of answering that call to Spirit that said, yes. Yes, God. Yes, something more. And if you'll join me this afternoon, we'll have an experience of connecting spiritual growth, deepening connection as we grow together with change. Namaste.
good comes to me, it's done to me as I believe. And as I give, I shall receive. My good becomes my reality. Only good comes to me. It's done to me as I believe. And as I give, I shall receive. My good becomes my reality. Expressing now this life coming forth and shining through. It's the light that heals the world and sets me free. Through the day and all the night, no more struggles, no more strife, no more trying to make it right. Just shine through me, shine through me, shine through me, shine through me, shine through me. I'm gonna let this light shine through me. 'Cause only good comes to me. It's done to me as I believe. And as I give, I shall receive. My good becomes my reality. Only good comes to me. It's done to me as I believe. And as I give, I shall receive. My good becomes my reality. Shining through. Sorry, keep going. I don't have to stress or struggle trying to succeed. I just relax into this life and let it be. I walk the path of least resistance. Allow God's love to carry me. God's love is all I want and all I need. It's all I want. All I want. It's all I need. All I need. This love is all I want and all I need. Why? 'Cause only good comes to me. It's done to me as I believe. My good I shall receive. My good becomes my reality. Only good comes to me. It's done to me as I believe. And as I give, I shall receive. My good becomes my reality. My reality. My reality. My reality. My reality. My good, my God is my reality. Thank you. You're too kind.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Dana. That was great. Greg, thank you. We are blessed by your presence today. Okay. So as we move forward with our offering, our prosperity proclamation, as our ushers come forward, we take these gifts into our hands and we just infuse them with that love that we are. And we see the unlimited possibilities being created through each of us. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all I receive. It's one of those days. Just throw it down. We're just going to hear it feedback. Thank you, Judy. That was beautiful. And so now let us bless our offerings with our prosperity affirmation together. We are stewards of divine abundance. We give and receive with gratitude, and so it is. And we send those gifts out into the universe to bring in unlimited possibilities. And so now as our children, nope, they're not coming in today? Okay. And our prayer for protection. All right. Together, please stand. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And now for our peace song.
Namaste, y'all.
It's a bluesy day, John.
That was great.
Oh, thank
Like, woohoo, this is her. I was like, here she goes.
I've been actually practicing. Yeah, there she goes again.
That's good.
I've been practicing a little with some things online. There's some really cool things online.
Oh, wow.
I am finding, every time I find one, I go all crazy for it, then I find another one.